Hello, and welcome to a subsequent edition with another no wardrobe change and no location change of the seating because she said that she found her spot.
Comfy.
So, the topic of this conversation with the columns is exciting things that will be happening in 2026.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm ready
This will be literally a labor of love.
for several reasons.
So, what will be expected and necessary right off the bat?
Well, um we're doing some consolidating. We have our journey has been I was coaching and then I took a full-time job. Then you began coaching and then long story short, this is the first season that we're both doing full-time coaching. But you have
Yeah, I mean, all of last year we were full time coaches, but we have realized that it doesn't work the way we're doing it
no.
for us to have separate websites, to have separate
Social
all things.
media.
So, yes,
Yeah.
we are consolidating.
Yes, super excited about that. So we're building a new website, and it will be under, uh, Column Collective, and so
So,
then
say that again.
yeah, Column Collective, and so then you'll be able to access Britton and me or both of us for couples and you'll be able to see all the retreats that we do in one spot. So I'm really excited about that for several
Lots of
reasons.
things.
Lots of reasons.
You actually have had your self worth course on your website.
Yes.
I have not.
Yep.
So again, there are just a multitude of reasons why we're going to collectively
Move forward
communicate
and move forward together, under one, name.
one umbrella,
Yes, and
one coaching entity. Um, yeah, because there's a lot of vision for some other things down the road, but
yes, lots of vision.
in the immediate, again, we will consistently offer the 8-week self worth courses.
Mhm.
Those will be offered several times a year,
Yep.
and we'll be able to put those on the website. So dates for subsequent courses will be there. You can sign up at any point in time for those.
Mhm.
But additionally, we are going to be doing retreats that can also be found on the website.
Mhm.
And so we have another women's retreat this year.
Mhm. We have the Women's Wilderness Retreat, held in the Bridger Teton National Forest, which is hands down the most fun women's retreat I've ever hosted, and
Yes.
I love it, and it is September 2nd through the 6th
Hmm.
this year.
Yes.
So yes, that will be on the website where you
That
can
will be on the website.
book right off the website. Yep.
Yes. So then, depending upon some of the interest level and some of the bookings, what we also have capacity to begin to advertise is we're going to attempt to do a men's retreat also up there.
Yes. Yep.
It will pretty well mimic the exact same layout. So it'll be a pretty intimate group. We're looking at 8 participants. Um,
Mhm.
but what I would love to dialogue around that is what we have found, and I want to invite you to explore more in this conversation. But what we have found is that in gender specific retreats, you miss a little bit of the opposing sex's ability to help build a bigger picture, specifically in some of either the healing, the safety, the perspective.
Mhm.
Because if you think about either adult experiences of hurts, trauma, whatever that looks like, or family of origin story conversations, those are never relegated to same sex
Mm.
ever. And so the beautiful thing is at the women's retreat, we have a particular segment that I and Rob have always been a big part of.
Yes.
But what we also want to do is you and I hold more of a tandem space in the interactions. And so then what that would look like even for men is you would be present and active in a lot of the dialogue as well. It's not just gonna be this one off, "Hey, we're gonna go ride horses," and we kinda do some interactions with horses, wherever that goes.
Hmm.
Um, and so that's the real beauty, I think, of our heart behind this offering because, number 1, I believe the space alone creates a really unique experience.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Yep.
In addition to the space, what I love is our passion is to be able to work together and help people bring our unique gifts. And the obvious part of that is you're a woman, I'm a man, and that perspective alone becomes really valuable.
Hmm.
So some of the makeup of these retreats, though participants would be sex specific,
Hmm.
the interactions would not be as much is really the only way I want to communicate that.
Well, I think yes, and like I think there's a lot of space for the men to process and with other men and
Right.
where I wouldn't be involved.
Sure.
What we have shared though is having you and Rob having really safe men there has offered a lot of healing opportunities for women. And same when I'm there, it just brings a different element to see yeah, the feminine side there supporting and showing up safe for the men there to process.
Yes. I particularly am I love to talk about this because it is not my expertise, but I have heard John Eldridge communicate this several different times from his own experience and because professionally this is very much he would be considered an expert, right? His statement is mother wounds are the mother of all wounds.
Yes, yes.
Now, I know other people probably articulate that. I have just personally heard him communicate that,
Hmm.
even specific to his own story. So that is part of the passion that I see missing when we get into exclusively male dominated spaces.
Hmm.
I think that that can be true with some regard in exclusively female dominated spaces.
Hmm.
The lack of the opposite sex partnering at times,
Hmm.
but not driving it, eliminates some portion of um, what I might say is a more holistic approach than it just being linear and relegated to the same sex.
Yes, we're definitely, yes, I like that holistic approach. Like, we definitely want to um, provide space for there to be healing from either mother wounds or father wounds or ex wives or ex husbands or whatever. Yep.
Siblings,
Siblings.
yeah. And so that's the only reason that I would just kind of camp on that statement. I do love it when you show up and drop the heat. It's just fun to watch.
I don't want to scare anybody away. I always say that when I bring that level of intensity and heat, it really is like a deep, deep compassion that comes out. It's almost like the mama bear that comes out in
Sure.
me.
But I think that's also just the fun part of your conviction probably is going to feel safer than mine. They're just different.
I will definitely agree that they're so different. We show up so different.
but I think that's part of the beauty in experiencing a more holistic dynamic specific to the emotional intelligence realm
Mhm.
and the spiritual realm even. I don't believe that a male dominated voice adequately articulates the nature of God.
Mhm. No.
It just doesn't.
Mm.
And so we've got millenniums of that experience. We don't need a ton more of that. I'm not saying I'm not going to talk about Jesus.
Mhm.
I am saying I don't represent the totality of God just because there is a predominant reference to the masculinity aspect of God.
Yeah.
So shoot the rabbit. Back to offerings. Um, there are a couple of dates that we have set aside for some retreats.
Mhm.
And again, those will be on the website. We're going to be able to start advertising those, but definitively, we already have the first women's retreat the first week of September.
Mhm.
That one is already booking.
Yes, it's filling up really quickly. So if you're interested, I'd
And you would
encourage you to go
take
ahead and get in.
how many participants for that one?
8 is the max, and yes, it's filling up really fast.
Yeah. So I think there's another 4 spots available for that one.
Yes.
So sign up, reach out.
Mhm.
But the reason that we wanted to have the conversation is because there is going to be a consolidation of a lot of the way that we try to push out, communicate, a little bit of rebranding, even trying to figure out what we're going to do on the podcast
Mhm.
itself, because all of this is really interwoven.
Mhm.
And our goal would be to try to make it easier for everybody to figure out us.
Yes, because up to this point, Britton has had his coaching LLC. I've had my coaching LLC, and then we have a nonprofit. And so it's been a little cumbersome in navigating. And so the goal is to keep the nonprofit, but to bring our coaching together, um, and operate under
Forever.
operate together moving forward. Um, yeah.
That might have to be the new intro songs.
Yeah. Which kind of I want to elaborate a little bit on the nonprofit too, is we're really wanting to partner with more. We already partner um, some other organizations, but if you have benefited from any of our Making Sense of Your Worth or retreats or even individual coaching, that's what the nonprofit is set up for, where people can donate to the nonprofit for people that maybe need some financial assistance with some of those. And we can turn around and help other people. So if that's something that you're interested in, that is helping kind of pay it forward. That's a good way to do that.
Right. A lot of other fun things to come as the vision gets built out. But
Mhm.
all that being said, what we also have a passion to do is make more offerings for online content. And so part of the goal in consolidating our marketing efforts is also to really get a more cohesive way to represent some things that we are building out
Yep.
and what we want to make available
Mhm.
beyond just either a one-on-one or group coaching dynamic. So our passion is to equip and empower people emotionally as well as spiritually.
Mhm.
So one of the things that we want to do for 26 is that we want to also begin to move into an online, what would be considered an identity course.
Mhm.
And we won't get too deep into delineating all the specifics of that because we're still trying to map out some of how we want to make that offering. But the short of it would be we have the capacity to essentially navigate a 6-month start to finish intensive.
Yeah.
But when I say that, it's not like that you would inherently have a 6-month commitment because that's probably not gonna be realistic. Like, what we know is some people may sign up, but the majority may not find that to be the great first action step.
Yeah.
Right. So the vision would be that we would have a couple of different ways that people have soft launched into being able to consider here's a first offering, and they
Mhm.
would be consecutive built upon offerings so that you would only, let's say, do offering number 3 if you completed 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Um, so as you move through those offerings, that's the way that you would end up getting the catalog of what we believe is going to become a really powerful intensive.
Yeah. I
Wh
think yeah.
how would you describe more of that?
Yeah, I think it's just built, on, w we the Making Sense of Your Past Worth curriculum that we offer is just an incredible, incredible starting point.
Mhm,
Just really learning who you are, and your worth and value outside of your performance, which we preach all the time. And so, that's a great starting point. But then I feel like the curriculum that we're creating is just a way to grow even more, um, spiritually and to become more aware of, how to really step into your purpose and callings and to, um, really cultivate, kinda call out your dreams of your heart and put legs to it,
mhm.
and how you're really gonna impact the world around you.
Yeah, because I think even as we were just recording the prior conversation, and we got into how many people don't truly trust the way that they hear from God. So, there would be a specific dedicated intensive on how to hear,
Yep.
the different ways that you can hear, help cultivate that within a person.
Mhm.
Those would just be some of the particulars of the way that we're wanting to try to build out this intensive
Mhm.
so that it's hard to describe right now, but the scripture that comes to mind, it references at times precept upon precept. And that very much would be the way that I would describe this. Like
Mhm.
by the time that we get to the end,
Mhm.
the vision would be that you would have a life plan or a business plan.
Yep.
Either of the 2 are appropriate, but you get to determine what direction you wanna take in that, um, because if you're gonna spend, let's say, and this is a hypothetical timeline, but what we did was we actually sat down and mapped all of this out,
Mhm.
which is the reason why I'm being really specific with a 6-month time frame. Like, it really was if we did an intensive online, showed up, and this is not the way we're doing it, but if this were to have been, we would start January 1, and it would literally go 6 months every week. So, what we're trying to figure out how to do is as we get into these nuggets of each topic and transition point, we wanna make sure that even if you didn't progress, you still feel really solid and really validated in the
Yes.
understanding of that particular aspect.
Yes.
So, whether it's some of the way that you were created and a lot of times people use that through personality assessments.
Yeah, the way you process information
Right.
and apply. Yeah.
Right. So there's gonna be some really fun components to that that
Mhm.
that we're working through, we're clarifying. Um, we also wanna make this something that a person can go and purchase. So a lot of this looks like you doing this online, and there would be access
Mhm.
to some direct interactives, and maybe even a cohort where you're interacting with peers, but it isn't as much as a lot of times when we're doing like the self-worth course, we're doing one-on-one coaching, you're getting super direct one-on-one interaction.
Mhm.
It doesn't substitute that, but this isn't designed for you to have that high level of a dependency on your growth journey. that would be the way I would communicate it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think this would definitely be more of an equipping and as to what you alluded and empowering you, like giving you really, really tangible tools just to move forward and to learn more about yourself. I think too, though, I think um, getting to learn that you're not alone in the ways that you process information and maybe hear from God. And so it'll be fun. It's a fun curriculum. I think it's super different than anything I have been a part of or gone through, but it is a direct representation, I think, of our personal journey that we've been on and what parts we really found a lot of value in and just kind of collaborated and put it all into one curriculum.
Right. Because there would be, as we've processed just between one another, there would be a part to go and grab,
Mhm.
and I've experienced great teaching on that.
Mhm.
That is separate from this teaching over here, which is also super beneficial, and so I love the way that you just communicated that. There have been a ton of things that we found value in and what we have pursued personally, and we wanna kind of pull high level those topics together and say, "Okay, well, here is if you wanna do the totality of this, what we believe to be accurate in this statement is that this is going to be a really intentional intensive on identity
Mhm.
that would help cultivate you both personally, emotionally, and spiritually."
Mhm. Yep.
And so that is the part that we are very excited about, but it's going to require us to get a better way to try to m- both market that, advertise that, make it available, because our present dynamic of hers, his, and ours, um, just it is not effective. The amount of people that says, "I can't find your podcast anywhere," and I'm like,
It's just another level of blending. We're just blending.
maybe that ought to be our logo as a blender.
True. True. Yeah.
Oh, that's, just an inside joke that probably nobody got, but that was just funny.
If they were what would be even more fun if they could see the process of us trying to blend
No
our
kidding.
2 little our 2 little businesses. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so, we don't have a definitive launch date, but we are trying to work out as we get the website finished and launched. Again, what we wanna do is have you guys subscribe. We'll definitely have social media presence
mhm,
with Column Collective, and so whether we're pushing content through social media or emails, whatever that looks like, we want to make it easy for people to find what our offerings are.
mhm.
And
Yep,
so those will be on the website.
yep.
But that looks like maybe more niche specific retreats, as you've alluded to, women's retreat, men's retreat. Um, there's some big vision for some other really fun things
Mhm,
that we're not super clear about, so we're not going to say it yet, but it is coming. But more specifically, I've heard people use this language. I don't know if it's accurate. After we launch this, we can get feedback because that's the way that we like to do things. But I think of it as an intensive. I've heard people use the language like a mastermind class.
hmm,
And so there would be probably an amalgamation of both of those. This isn't just a true mastermind because what we're not here to do is just teach you, um, because that's devoid of you doing exploration into your own journey and your own story
mhm,
and maybe some healing components to that. Um, but there's definitely going to be some teaching components to it. So you will be in a group setting, um, and we will have launch dates to particular segments of those. So it's not like you're going to get to do all this remote, independent of anybody, because we don't like that either.
Yeah, well, you lose so much value in what you can learn from other people.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's, I'm not exactly sure what we term these other than intensive seems the most appropriate to me, but mastermind classes are also a very common language.
Mhm.
Um,
But
but
everyone that we're offering were game changers for you and I. And
correct,
mhm.
but I would caveat that there are a couple of things that we're gonna offer that we didn't participate in. They were just downloads that we got.
Oh, yes. Still game changers, though.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
For
I
me,
I
I
believe
won't
that they're
speak
gonna
for
be
you.
effective
Mhm.
for sure, but I think that becomes the part that I know I advocate this in week 1 of the self-worth course. Your guarantee in any of this change is solely predicated on your commitment to it.
For sure.
And so whether or not it's a game changer to anybody
Absolutely.
else, you could do this 6-month intensive, and I believe that it should change you, but if it doesn't, it's not gonna be because we didn't do our part.
Right.
I'm just gonna say that right up front.
Yeah. Well, I'm in complete agreement. I would hope that anyone that invested in it would want to give it their all.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's like all things, and it's the reason that I don't think that standalone downloads work for people. There is a statistic that says how infrequent completing some of those.
Oh, like purchase and download and then complete. Is that what you mean?
Right. So if there was, you could sign up for a basically a teaching, right? A sub I don't it's not a subscription, but like,
Mhm.
"Hey, come sign up for this e-course."
Mhm.
The amount of people that finish that as an independent download and an independent participant is really, really low.
Mhm.
Like, I think only 20% or less.
Wow.
And so, the reason that this will be a group dynamic is because so many people are desperate to be seen. So, if there are other people in the journey, your likeliness to show up increases, but there's also just a natural accountability element to it.
Mhm.
Not just accountability, but to your point, relatability.
Mhm.
Because we can also get so isolated that we begin to believe that what we're experiencing is so unique to us that other people wouldn't understand until somebody has the courage to start saying, "Well, here's my behind the curtains.
Mhm.
Would you like to come into my house?"
Yeah.
So this is not called Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but we are going to invite you in. I
Mhm.
may or may not wear a cardigan. Sometimes Millie does.
I do like a good cardigan.
Yeah, but we do want to be a neighbor with you
Mhm.
and are really excited about trying to get that up and out because we I think anytime that you're shown something from God, it's just hard to not have faith in what it would be able to do for people. Um, and so I think that becomes the need for us to get very cohesive in just our own platform and the way that we can share that information out because otherwise it gets really confusing whether you're accessing her and learn about it or you're accessing me. This will be a cohesive way that you guys can find all of what we're doing.
Okay.
Um,
Excited.
Other things that you would like to articulate for 26.
I don't know if I have full permission yet, but lots of really fun things in the works.
I like that.
Yeah, and yeah, I would say
This is
we're
where we need to pull the sign for the neon that says "Stay tuned."
yes, stay tuned. More retreat opportunities. Um, and other fun things to be a part of and experience.
The challenge in this is that the conversation sounds a little ambiguous, right? Full disclosure, some of it we're learning as we go because we have to get certain things in place in order for us to take the next step.
Yeah.
Um, what we can communicate right now is for sure we are going to have some retreats.
Mhm.
For sure, before the year's end, we're going to have this intensive.
Mhm.
what part of it, how far into it we can get this year. We're figuring that out as we go,
Mhm.
because it requires us to record some content as well. But there will be some really cool things that we have had a lot of passion in wanting to make available
Mhm.
and begin to try to share and grow in,
Yeah.
um, because our heart is to want to really equip. There is a whole discipleship conversation at hand.
Mhm.
We're not, I want to be really clear, we're not trying to be a substitute to anyone or anything. I don't think that that ever works.
Mm-mm.
But what I don't feel like that we need to apologize for is the things that we know people are hungry for, and we wanna make that available. But again, it's not in competition or in lieu of, it's
No.
just more.
Yeah, just more opportunity.
Yeah,
I
that's
think options are always healthy and good.
Baskin Robbins is successful for a reason.
Yes. Yes. So, super excited. It will include a lot of horses and a lot of emotional and spiritual intelligence, a lot of identity, not the course, the year. The year will offer a lot of opportunity
The
to,
year will.
yeah. Um, I'm excited.
Anything else you wanna add to it?
What am I missing?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's it.
The short is, hopefully, by the time that this one gets published, we will be able to attach the new launched website and email address into the show notes for this offering. That would be the goal.
Yes. Also, the goal is to keep our original websites up for at least a year so people can still find us and
Not mine.
oh,
Mine's coming down because it got trashed
oh,
somehow. I
mine's
Yeah,
staying up for a
I
minute.
still have an email address. My website will not stay up. It
Yeah.
just needs to go away because it sucks anyway.
Oh, that makes me sad for you. But
Well,
we'll figure it
it's
out.
all good.
Look for us on social media. We'll make it hopefully as easy as we can.
Column Collective
Mhm.
is the name. Um, yes. And so again, in faith, we're saying look for all of this in the show notes, as well as launching this on some social media,
Mm.
all the things.
Yeah.
But what we ask for more than anything is just stay connected.
Mhm.
We'll continue to share this stuff out on our personal pages via social media. Um, but also, that is not our lane. I,
Mm-mm.
I, yeah. So we'll get there eventually. It's growing. It's going to continue to grow, but our heart is to really try to help educate people on what it is that we can provide.
Mhm.
And we're getting to a space and capacity where those offerings are growing, and our passion in that has been patiently awaiting the launch. So, not necessarily stay tuned, be watching, stay connected.
Yeah.
As I hear a friend say, stay close, and you'll be in the know.
Sounds good.
We'll see you next time.